A comeback win for Manchester United against West Ham. It was a tale of two halves as well, this one, Stevie. How do you actually determine what to think of this Manchester United side with what we saw in this game?
Well, it's pretty clear how important that Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford are. Just absolutely the catalyst for the change. It took them 10 minutes when they came on at half-time to get warmed up. And then after that, the two of them were just devastating together. And of course, everybody else around them raised the game. You know, at half-time, 1-0 down, should have been 2 or 3. Some poor finishing from Haller in particular. Bowen was clean through as well. Good challenge from Wan-Bissaka. But, you know, at half-time, again, you're thinking, can United really, can they come back again? Well, the answer we now know is absolutely. And devastating football. Bruno Fernandes and Rashford were absolutely superb. I mean, Rashford's timing of his runs and his finishing, and of course the balls from Fernandes. Second half, it was vintage, but first half was awful.
Well, let's talk about that, because that's 5 consecutive away games where they've had to come back. And I suppose there's 2 ways of looking at it. One, it's great that they can rally to come back. But 2, the fact that they have to do that, is that because they need warming up in the first half, or is it bad management from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
Well, I think you have to point the finger a little bit at Solskjaer. Maybe he picked the wrong team to start the game. Maybe you start with Rashford and Fernandes, and then you take them off once you've won the game. Maybe that's how you go about it. But you certainly have to question how he motivates the players before the game starts, because this is happening too often. But the majority of the blame has to lie with the players. You know, where was the confidence and the movement and the passing and everything else in the second half? Where was it in the first half? They almost start games as if they're not quite sure what's going to happen. Instead of taking the bull by the horns, which they do when they're behind and have no other choice, where is that at the start? So I think if I'm Ollie, that's the one thing I'm trying to figure out and try and erase, because if they can start games the way they've been finishing them, particularly in the Premier League away from home, then this would be a completely different Man United side.
There were 3 great goals, though. Obviously, you've talked about Rashford's. Pogba's was really nice too. So too was Dean Henderson's involvement in it.
Yeah, well, I think West Ham was scratching about trying to figure a way to get rid of this goal, because they all thought that Dean Henderson's 50, 60-yard punt from the wide right area had gone out and come back in. There was no evidence to suggest it had, and so if there's no evidence, and you can't say it's out. But from there, you have to say that West Ham's backline fell asleep. And of course, Manchester United's forwards stayed alive, particularly Bruno Fernandes. So, yeah, a bit of good play United's part, but horrible defending from West Ham. But in my opinion, the ball was in play as well.
Then you've got Mason Greenwood's goal. Is he the best finisher at the club, Stevie?
It was an excellent finish. It looked a smooth finish. It looked a finish of a guy who is a good finisher, but he has to produce it a lot more consistently for us to turn around and say he's their best finisher. I would suggest Rashford right now is the best finisher. So Greenwood's got a little bit to go, but I mean, it was a great finish, but more consistency would get him up there.
When everything clicks for United like it did in the second half, does it show that they are still an elite side?
Well, I'm not sure we're ready to say that yet. You know, we're waxing lyrical here about Bruno Fernandes and Rashford. That shouldn't be the case. We should be talking about a team. The best teams, the elite teams, are more than just 2 players. And so, yes, United have gone up the table, but there's no consistency about them. You're not sure still what you're going to get. And that's not the sign of an elite team.
Bruno Fernandes, the most important player on that team then?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, he transforms everything, and as we said, he's fortunate that he has somebody in Rashford who's got a great football brain as well and understands where to run, when to run, and how to finish. Great combination. But yeah, I would say Bruno Fernandes is the difference maker at Manchester United.
3 goals in the second half for Manchester United gave them all 3 points. And once again, another comeback win on the road.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.